Ladies and gentlemen, we now begin with our next session for the day, the topic being Understanding Consumer Act and Legal Metrology for Contract Manufacturers. And to present the same, may I invite on stage none other than Mr. Ashutosh Agarwal. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a huge round of applause for him? Deputy Director, Legal Metrology Department of Consumer Affairs, Government of India. Thank you so much, sir, for being here with us. I can't hear you all clap. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. Over to you.
Good morning to all. It is my great privilege to be here to tell you what are the requirements of the legal metrology so that we can understand that there should not be any error or the mistake whenever the packages are going into the market, and we are not doing any type of violation which creates problem in the later course of time. So basically the legal metrology is not for, it is for all of us. What are the requirements of legal metrology? I'll just discuss with you in detail so that either whether today or tomorrow, whenever we are manufacturing the packages, we are manufacturing the products, we should know what we have to comply, what are the requirements which are basically in the interest of consumers, and all of us are consumers. As we see, whether we are manufacturing one product, but rest 99 products, we are only buying from the market. So everybody in India, we have about 130 crores of consumers, and whenever you are sending a product into the market, everybody understands what are the requirements which you actually require when you are going to buy a product from the market. So I will discuss about the legal metrology. Legal metrology is nothing basically. When we talk about the metrology, metrology is measurement. Since beginning, morning to the night, and from birth to death, every time we are only doing the measurement. How much time I have spent in this program? How much is my weight? What is my temperature? When we enter in the conference hall, when the people are taking our temperature, whether it is high or less, so that we can say whether we can enter inside the office, inside the building or not. So all these things are basically measurement. Since morning to evening, we are only doing the measurement from birth to that measurement. But if we are having the legal requirements, what are the legal frameworks on a measurement, which not only affect the person who is taking the measurement, but also affects the consumers, also affects the economy, are very important, and this is covered under the legal metrology. When we have the provisions of law under the over the measurement, what are the requirements, legal requirements we have to comply. If we talk about this legal metrology or requirement of this legal metrology, we can see basically the purpose of this legal metrology is to enforce, to ensure the public guarantee from the point of view of security and accuracy of measurement. What measurement I am doing, whether it is correct or not, and what product I am giving to the market, it is correct or not. So basically the purpose of this legal metrology to ensure and to give the guarantee to the public that it is correct. And after standing over here, I can give you the guarantee when you are going to buy a product from the market, and when it is mentioned it is 1 liter, certainly it is 1 liter. That is the security, that is the surety which is given by the legal metrology to all the consumers in the country. Whenever we are doing the transaction among ourselves within the country or outside the country, this is very important whether the measurement is correct or not. Similarly, it builds a confidence in industry and the consumer. You know, unfortunately, it is very difficult nowadays that we have lost our confidence. We don't have that trust. Trust factor in the society, trust factor in the system has been lost. And that's why we have a system of OTPs, one-time password. This is basically only due to the trust. Whenever we will continue to move on these in the technology, and when we will remove this trust factor, certainly we will be having more and more OTPs only, nothing else. So we have to build a confidence, a trust factor among the society, among the industry, among the consumer, so that whenever we are going to buy something, we don't need an OTP. It also gives a harmonious environment for conducting the business. Basically, this subject of legal metrology is from the Constitution of India, and it is not of today. If we start from the Indus Valley Civilization then after that Maurya, then British rulers, and then in between the Chanakya and everybody have observed the requirement of this measurement, and they have framed their rules, their own rules, how to maintain the measurement in the market. And similarly, after the freedom of this India, we have made our own weights and measures laws. Now, at present, we have the next, immediately, we are using the Legal Metrology Act 2009. Before this Legal Metrology Act, we were having the Standards of Weights and Measures Act 1976, and before that, it was the Standards of Weights and Measures Act 1956. So this is the passage of time. We have evolved ourselves. We have developed not the new standards, the new regulations for our own, so that the consumers and the industry can work together, can work in a better way, and we can find the better products in the market. Similarly, if the purpose of this act is to just to establish and enforce the standards of weights and measures. Basically, under this act, when we talk about the mass, it is in kg. When we talk about the volume, it is in liter. When we talk about the time, it is in second. So basically, the standards of weights and measures are being made under this Legal Metrology Act 2009. All the standards are made. Here, the purpose is to establish and enforce the standards of weights and measures, and to regulate trade and commerce in weights and measures. Basically, all type of transactions which we are doing today, either in terms of weight, measure, or number. So it covers all type of transactions, whether we are doing it through weight, measure, or number. Similarly, this is being regulated by the Legal Metrology Act under the Department of Consumer Affairs. When we talk about this Legal Metrology Act, it is a very small, simple act which has only 57 sections. Under this act, the different rules have been framed for the understanding of the manufacturers, understanding of the consumers, and understanding of the all common citizen of the country who can understand what are the requirements of this legal metrology in the country. If we talk about this weight and measure, basically under this act, it has been made mandatory that all the units will be taken as from the metric system of units or the SI system of units, as I already discussed, meter, kilogram, and seconds. So in India, using any other type of unit apart from this SI system of units is not allowed. We are bound. Basically, we have already signed the meter convention in 1957. So we are only complying the SI system of units in our country. Basically, under this act, we have made the provisions for the prepackaged commodities. Nowadays, what we are going to buy in the market in today's scenario, in most of the commodities are sold in terms of prepackaged commodities, over which we found all the declarations, what are the requirements of a prepackaged commodity. So this is the way what we are doing under this legal methodology on a prepackaged commodity. When you are going to buy or sell a prepackaged commodity, you are very well aware what are the basic requirements I have to check on a prepackaged commodity. If we talk about this legal methodology, under this act, a provision is also made, because whenever a violation is being made or an offense is being made, it is basically only compounded by depositing some sum of amount into the government account. And to just safeguard the interest of industry, a provision is made that a director can be nominated from a company who will only be responsible for the violation of the Legal Metrology Act. And whenever there will be a compounding, it will be only with the company and one nominated director. So these are the provisions under the Legal Metrology Act which we have made. If we talk about the legal methodology, basically it is applicable on all type of transactions which are used in protection and transaction. What are basically transaction? If we talk about transaction, it is any type of sale, purchase, wages, duty, etc. All type of transactions are covered under this legal methodology and the protection. If we are using any type of weighing or measuring instrument which is used for the protection of any human being or an animal or a commodity, it is covered under the legal methodology. The purpose is whatsoever the products we are manufacturing. See, we should know, as we are manufacturers over here, we should know what we are manufacturing in our country, how we can have the very good quality products in our country, so that we can also have a pride or a system by which we can say we are also following the developed countries' standards. Standards are already available in India. We just have to comply them. Similarly, earlier we used to say, this is for make for India. This is for made for India. Then we say make in India. Then we say made in India. And now we have to say originated in India. We have to say, now we are in the next direction or next step where we will say that it is being originated in India. Slowly, as the manufacturing factories, manufacturing companies, and the manufacturing sector is developing in India with the private laboratories, large number of private laboratories who are doing the calibration and the testing of products, we are finding that the more or less, the products are complying the international standards. So this is the way, slowly, we have to develop ourselves, we have to develop our standards, and we have to find how we can have the international best standards. And I would like to say, as we are in the international market now, this is a global market, and our products are very well sold outside the country. They are being used outside the country. Even after when I am outside, I have seen many products everywhere, like Haldiram, like Bikaner Wala. These type of products you will find in all the countries, whether it is US or in Europe. So that means our products are up to the standard mark, and they are being used outside the country. Not only these food products, but also the electronic items or other type of items, they are very well maintained or made in India. But the next step is originated in India. And certainly, as our government has a plan to have a 5 trillion economy, as since last many years, we are in between 2.5 and 2.7 and in between 3. How it will be when we'll be having a very good quality material in India, as now more and more government is giving the opportunity to the industries. We have to see how the best quality, best standards products can be manufactured in India. If we talk about this transaction and protection, we are very well aware that all type of transactions and protections are covered under the legal methodology. And I would like to tell you, this legal methodology about which I am talking today, it is not a national subject, or anything which we are doing under this legal methodology is not being made by us only. We are the member of the International Organization of Legal Methodology, and all whatsoever we are doing, whatsoever rules are being made, whatsoever the recommendations are being made, these are as per the International Organization of Legal Methodology recommendations. We also the part of these OIML committees, and we also made the drafts. Whenever the drafts or the recommendations are being made, we are doing, we are following, we are complying, or we are simply giving our inputs to this international body. It's an intra-governmental body which used to frame the recommendations, which used to frame the drafts for the international community for the TBT purpose. As we are the member of this committee, we are aware of that. These are the benefits of this harmonization. If we are doing this calibration in India, it is valid all over the world. Similarly, because we are also 17025 complying country, we have NABL, we have Quality Council of India. So the products which are calibrated in legal methodology or in or by any NABL lab, they are all NABL accredited lab, they are all complying, they are all being accepted everywhere. So the purpose of this legal methodology is also same, to reduce the cost. We have good quality products, we have standard products. So this is the basic requirement. We also have the impact on industry, we have the impact on consumer, we have the impact on trade. So all these importance we have of this legal methodology. We are also doing the participation in all the technical committees, and we are the Director Legal Methodology. Government of India is the CIML member who represents India in the CIML meetings, in the OML committee meetings. So this is the way how we are working in India. Similarly, the new type of equipments are coming into the market, and we have to find out, we have to finalize the recommendations or the standards for these new type of equipments, whether it is electric vehicle charging, how much charging is being done, how much is the battery power. So all these requirements, whether because it is a measurement, whenever there is a weighing or measuring, the legal methodology comes into the picture. So these are the small things, these are the new technologies which are coming in the way, and very soon we will be having the new standards, whether it is breath analyzer, whether it is sound level meter, moisture meter, energy meter. All these are very important for the transaction purpose whenever we are doing, not only for transaction, for the safety of the person, safety of the equipment. Because in India, we consider that quality and safety are the same things. But actually, quality and the safety are two different things. Quality defines something different, and safety needs something different. So for the safety purpose, we need all the standards have to be complied in our country. We are also developing large number of standards, other type of equipments, other type of rules which will be mandatory in the country to comply with. Similarly, we have 7 rules framed under this Legal Metrology Act. These rules are basically to implement the Legal Metrology Act or to implement the law in the country so that the people can understand what are the rights, what are the duties we have under this Legal Metrology Act given to the industry, asked from the industry or given to the consumers. If we talk about the packaged commodities rules are basically very important rules for all the industries who are manufacturing or packing the prepackaged commodities. They have to comply all these prepackaged commodities rules. Similarly, we have the general rules. General rules are basically having the specifications of all type of weighing and measuring instruments, how it will be made, what will be this specification, how it will be tested, and what we have to check when we are using this weighing or measuring instrument. Similarly, we also have the national standards rules. All type of technology, all type of units, all type of drafts which are given under this international market, whether it is for technical scientific use, whether it is for industrial use, or whether it is for legal metrology use, all are covered under this national standard rule, giving all the definitions and the other parts of a definition of a particular unit. Similarly, we have numeration rules, how to represent a number. As we are all aware, number, how we represent, like dash after the decimal, we have generally two zeros. Before the decimal, we have in terms of in a pair of 3, then 2 and 2. Like that, so that we can understand in our system, like lakhs, crores, like that. But as we are having this, international market is now a global market, and we generally talk about the million and billion. So we also can use in terms of 3 digits, 3 zeros, or in terms of 3 digits. Similarly, we have one institute for the training purpose, and we also have the provision for the private laboratories to do the work of verification and stamping of weights and measures. Slowly, with the passage of time, when the technology will develop in the private sector, certainly the private laboratories will cope up with the government to do the verification and stamping of weighing and measuring instruments or the weights and measures, which the facility we don't have in the government sector. If we talk about the prepackaged commodity, basically we all are aware about the prepackaged commodities, because in India, not only in India, everywhere, more than 80% of the products are being sold in terms of a prepackaged commodity. So what are the requirements of a prepackaged commodity? If we just see about the prepackaged commodity definition, which is given under the Act, it says any package in which the commodity is being placed when the consumer was not present, whether it is open or sealed, it is a prepackaged commodity. And secondly, it also defines what do you mean by a label, how to put a declaration, on a prepackaged commodity. It defines that it may be a written, marked, stamped, printed, or graphic matter affixed to or appearing upon any prepackaged commodity. So the declaration can be given by any way which are allowed under the law. It may be written, it may be marked, it may be stamped or printed or graphic matter. So by all these ways, the declarations can be given on a prepackaged commodity. Similarly, under Section 18 of the Legal Metrology Act, the definitions under this Act, under this provision, the provision is made for the declaration part, that all the prepackaged commodities must have the declarations required under the rules. If the package is being sold or is being imported, is being given in the market without the declarations, it is a violation of law. And unfortunately, the violations under this Legal Metrology Act are the criminal offenses till now. However, we have a provision that first offense can be compounded, second offense can be compounded, but after the second offense, third offense has to be taken in the court of law, and the court will decide what punishment can be given. But however, this provision of compounding is made, and rules are very clear what are the declarations required on a prepackaged commodity. Similarly, under Section 18(2), it also says that whenever we are declaring or making any advertisement of a retail sale price of a prepackaged commodity, we have to mention how much is the commodity of this prepackaged commodity. So this is the way the law is very clear about it, that declarations are required. And as far as commodity is concerned or the quantity is concerned, we cannot sell, we cannot take less quantity. It should always be the same quantity which is mentioned on a prepackaged commodity. So these are the basic requirements under the law. The panel provisions are made under Section 36. Section 36(1) speaks about the penal provisions when there is a problem in declaration or there is a violation of declaration. If the declarations of MRP is not given, if the declaration of address of the manufacturer or some other requirements required under the law are not given, it will be dealt under the Section 36(1) of the Legal Metrology Act 2009. It says that for the first offense, the fine may be, the penalty may be, or the compounding may be up to rupees 25,000. For second offense, the penalty may be up to 50,000. And for the second, after the second, the third and the subsequent offense, the fine may be up to 1 lakh or imprisonment. The provision of imprisonment is also there, which is up to 1 year. So basically, the provisions are made that if you are continuously, if a manufacturer or a company is continuously doing the violation of law, then the provision, then this provision will be taken care of, so that the habitual nature of doing the violation should be stopped. However, the provision for first and second compounding is being made so that there should not be any harassment of any of the industry. Compound, if there is an error, a genuine error, the company can compound and the problem can be sorted out. Similarly, if a company is selling, manufacturing or packing any or importing any prepackaged commodity in which there is an error in the quantity, the quantity is less. In that case, the fine may be up to 50,000 for first offense, and for the second offense with the imprisonment, the fine may be up to 1 lakh rupees may be levied from the company. However, the provision in case of this short delivery is made in the second offense, but for the declaration part up to the second offense, it is compoundable. If we talk about the how and where the declaration has to be given, it is very clear under the law that the declarations have to be given on the principal display panel. Principal display panel is nothing. It is the complete package area over which the declarations can be given. You can just see, if we talk about this, that all the declarations should be grouped together and given at one place. We found that many times that the declarations are given at different places and a consumer is not able to read all the declarations at a time. So the law asks that all the declarations must be given at one place. It should not be here and there. Secondly, if you have some pre-printed information and some online information, because we find that large number of online informations are being given regularly now, so the provision allows that pre-printed information can be at one place and online information can be at the another place. This is also allowed under the law. If we talk about the prepackaged commodity, what are the declarations required? Very simple declarations. What we are asking, when I enter, I will simply say, who am I? I will say my name. Similarly, the law asks about the name and address of the manufacturer. Who is manufacturing a product? If the manufacturer is not packing the product, packer is something different, then the name and address of the packer and manufacturer, if manufacturer is not the packer, and the name and address of the importer if the product is an imported product. So purpose is the consumer who is buying a product should know who is manufacturing, packing or importing the product, so that if there is any problem in the product, he can approach to the manufacturer or the importer in case of any violation or in case of any defect in the prepackaged commodity. Similarly, we have, for an imported product, it is also being asked that the country of origin has to be mentioned on all the prepackaged commodities. Country of origin means that where the product is actually being made or originated. Similarly, we can also ask this is very important, why a consumer does not want to buy a product from a particular country, or he has some problem with a particular country, he should know. And I think it is the very important requirement for a consumer to know where the product is being manufactured. Similarly, common or the generic name of the product, what actually we are filling in the packet or what is inside the packet, it has to be mentioned on the prepackaged commodity. And then the net quantity in terms of standard units of weights and measures, we have already discussed in terms of meter, kilogram and seconds, like SI system. Similarly, MRP, maximum retail price of a package of the product with all taxes, inclusive of all taxes. Basically, this is given in India. I tell you one thing, it is very interesting and the very important point for the India. When we talk about some best things in India, we used to say that the best, one of the best thing is giving declaration of MRP. what is the MRP of a product. We can also always have a right to buy less than that MRP, but it is not allowed to sell any product over and above MRP. This is under the law. It is a violation of law. Similarly, we have asked about the unit sale price. What will be the unit sale price of a prepackaged commodity? It was earlier decided to implement from 1st of April 2022, which has been deferred on the request of the industries up to 1st of October 2022. That means all the prepackaged commodities which will be manufactured or after 30th of September 2022, they will declare not only MRP but the unit sale price also on a prepackaged commodity. If the prepackaged commodity is less than 1 kg, we have to declare the unit sale price in terms of gram. If it is more than 1 kg, it will be in terms of 1 kg. Similarly, liter and the other units. Next is month and year of manufacture. It is also being decided that the declaration of when we are packing or importing is not required. Actually, this was decided to declare from 1st of April, but now it has again been extended up to 30th of September 2022. That means whenever we will buy a product in the market, we will see when this product was manufactured, not imported or packed. I think it is required for the consumer point of view. The consumer is interested to know when the product was actually manufactured, not to packed or imported into the country. Maybe the product was manufactured about a year back outside the country and we are importing today. So the date of manufacturing, I think, is more important as compared to date of import. So it has been made mandatory that every packet should have the month and year of manufacturing in place of importing or the pre-packing. It will be implemented after 30th of September now. Next is, we have also asked that best before or use by date. Best before and use by date is basically any product which is used for the human consumption. However, the food laws, cosmetics, and the drugs, they have their own laws. So these commodities will be considered, will be dealt by the specific laws, whether it is FSSAI or the Drugs and Cosmetics Act. So they will be dealt under this, but rest of the commodities where there is no specific law, this prepackaged commodities rules will be applicable on it, and we have to declare the best before or use by date for any prepackaged commodity which is used for human consumption. So these are the basic definitions, basic requirements which we are asking, and not the least, last is consumer care details. Basically, when a consumer finds there is a problem in the product, he can directly contact to the manufacturer or the importer and can ask what is the problem and how I can resolve my problem. In place of going to the grievance cell, going to the consumer affairs, going to the legal metrology, the problem in between the consumer and the manufacturer can be sorted out at the initial level, and that's why these consumer care details, which should have email ID as well as the telephone number of the company, should be given on a prepackaged commodity, and the problem can be sorted out. So these are the basic requirements which we talk about the legal metrology, which we require from the legal metrology under the legal metrology rules. Similarly, the laws are also made for the e-commerce sites. Because now as the time is passing, we are having more and more products are being sold through these through these digital websites. And the rules ask some of the declarations have to be made with the products on these digital platforms. What are these requirements? The name and address of the manufacturer, importer, etc., the country of origin if it is imported, and common or generic name of the commodity, net quantity, MRP, and best before or use by date, month and year. So these are the basic requirements which we are asking from each and every manufacturer, packer, or importer to give on the digital websites, because digital commerce sites are just providing you the space where the products are being uploaded either by the manufacturer or the seller. So manufacturer and the seller has to ensure that all these declarations are made on the website of the digital sites. Basically, we have found earlier, last year, we have issued large number of notices to these e-commerce sites for not complying the rules or not giving the declarations. Later on, slowly, we are finding that all the manufacturers or most of the manufacturers and the suppliers are giving the most of the declarations which are required under the law. under this legal metrology rules, packaged commodities rules, Rule 10 basically requires what are the declarations under this Rule 10. We are asking the manufacturers, packers, or the sellers on these e-commerce websites to give these declarations on on digital platform. The size of the numeral and the letter which is required on a pre-packaged commodities is also decided under the law, which clearly speaks if the pre-packaged commodity has an area less than or equal to 50 square centimeters, the size, the height of the numeral and the letter will be 1 mm when we are printing it. But if it is blown, formed, or molded, as earlier we have seen when the glass bottles were there, we used to mold on this glass bottle, on the glass bottle itself. This size will be double of that, because otherwise it will not be easy to mold, or it will not be easy to form on a product, on the product itself. Similarly, if the area of a prepackaged commodity is in between 50 to 100 square centimeter, it will be 1.5. So what is the principal display panel? As I already told you, the whole surface area will be the principal display panel or principal display area of a prepackaged commodity. And accordingly, we have to find how much should be the size or the height of the numeral and the letter which has to be printed, which has to be declared on a prepackaged commodity. These are all declarations which we have already discussed about all type of sizes of the prepackaged commodity. We have some important provisions under the prepackaged commodities rules. It is very clear that once declared the MRP, it cannot be changed. MRP once declared, it will be the same, whether it is a manufacturer, packer, seller, anybody. Secondly, no prepackaged commodity can be sold over and above MRP. Thirdly, no two identical prepackaged commodities can have different MRPs. If the similar two commodities, all the similar two commodities will have the same MRP, this is being added under this, this is being added under this rule. It moves fast. Yeah, it is made under Rule 218(2)(a), under which it is being mentioned, it is not allowed to give different MRPs on identical prepackaged commodities. Similarly, it is already allowed that it is not allowed to sell over and above MRP. Similarly, another very important provision is made for the registration of manufacturers, packers, and the importers. All the manufacturers, packers, and the importers have to get registered themselves either with the Director of the Legal Metrology, Government of India, or from the state government controllers. We have a very good system of legal metrology in the country. We have at the central level, director and the other officers in the legal metrology, and also we have the state government controllers in every state, like Controller Maharashtra in Maharashtra, and you can apply to the Controller Maharashtra or to the Director Legal Metrology to apply to get a registration through the online application. We have a portal for making an application for the registration as a manufacturer, packer, or importer. These are the amendments which were made under this law. Basically, under this, if we talk about, we have already discussed that these are the mandatory declarations which will come into force now from 1st of October, which we were earlier deciding to get it done from 1st of April. Now, basically, all these declarations we have already discussed. I'm not going to discuss again that month and year manufacturing we have already discussed. Okay. These are the basic units, some of the other declarations, how the unit sale price will be discussed or will be declared. I'll just take 1 minute. We have already discussed that unit sale price will be up to 1 kg, it will be in gram, or 1 liter, it will be in 1 ml. These are the ways how we have to declare the declarations made on the prepackaged commodity. Similarly, we also have the net quantity declaration. We have allowed that you can declare it in any terms, whether it in pair or sets. These are the basic declarations which I wanted to share with you, and I think this is more than enough. This is at lunch time, and I will not take more time. Thank you very much.
Come on, ladies and gentlemen, he deserves a very huge round of applause. Give it up for Mr. Ashutosh Agarwal. I can't hear the claps, the ones behind. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir, for that knowledgeable session. We loved it. I think we're all going to take some inputs from here and reflect on and work on it. Sure, I will check with the organizers and we can have that done. Can I have a small? We have a small token of appreciation for you. Thank you so much.